Hi everyone, so we're back in Virginia Civics and Economics, Chapter 3, Section 3. If you have this book, you're more than welcome to follow along. And for the Virginia SOL standards in this section, they are evaluate how civic and social duties address community needs, and practice responsibility, accountability, and self-reliance. We're going to focus mostly on this first one. So let's sort of place you in the right location for this video. Last section, we tell you about the rights, duties, and responsibilities that you have as a citizen. This section goes further into that by describing how much you can get involved in your community using your rights as a citizen. The main message of this section is you can choose the degree you want to actually participate and do everything uh, that citizenship requires. Vocabulary in this section is simple, just social roles. So the definition of social roles is social roles are roles that people play in real life. Anything you do can be considered part of a social role. So say you decide to go see this movie. You are being a consumer when you go see this movie. The consumer role is a social role. You can think of social role as a broad main category and sort of consumer role being underneath it. It's a part of being a social role. Being a consumer is a social role. If you read the news in the morning, you are gaining information about what's going on in the government and society, and so you are becoming informed. Becoming informed is a citizenship role. And you can think of citizenship as also a subcategory of the broad social role. And just let's backtrack and talk about Marvel again. If you go to the movie with your friends, you're doing a social role, which is also part of the broad category of social roles, because you're hanging out with your friends. Finally, anytime you spend with your family, like in the picture, is a familial role. A familial role is sort of, again, a part of what social roles mean. So, just some features about social roles are right here. They change, they overlap, they conflict, and you can choose your level of participation in social roles. However, when you are subject to the rules of a social institution in any way, you can't simply say zero participation. For this last point, I want to just sort of emphasize that, when you turn 18 and become a citizen officially and you're an adult, uh, you are subject to the laws of the United States because you live here. And so if you say, I want to do zero or negative participation, that's sort of kind of saying that you don't want to pay taxes and you don't want to follow the law. And because the law is there to protect people who are part of this social institution called the United States government and people who are part of the United States, then if you want to just like ignore it or not pay taxes, uh, you are not protecting your neighbors in a way. And you are going against the basic social expectations that are part of the social institution called government. And so you'll get punished. People who don't get paid taxes go to jail. People who violate the law go to jail. You can't just sort of say, I'm going to be subject by the United States laws because I live here, but I'm going to ignore them all. So here's an example, and I'm going to read it out to you as you read it silently, of what social roles are. On a typical day, Jean Reardon begins by reading a newspaper article about a new public library. Then she helps her daughter prepare for a test. At work, she has a conference with her boss and goes for lunch with two college friends. On the way home from work, she picks up some groceries. After dinner, she watches some TV with her husband before going to bed. So when she helps her daughter, she's in a familial role. while her daughter is in a role of a student. When she reads the newspaper, she is in a citizenship role. She's becoming informed. At work, she has conflicts with her boss. That is a worker role, and a social role is right after that, goes for lunch with two college friends. She's a consumer when she picks up groceries. And what I want you to imagine now is, what if Jean Reardon becomes divorced from her husband and can't see her kid more than once or twice a week? This changes her familial role to be something different than what it is. So social roles can change. What if now let's imagine another scenario. What if trying when driving to pick up groceries, she receives a phone call from her daughter that or from her dad, that father, husband, that tells her that she needs to pick up one of the kids at soccer practice. So at this moment, she knows she needs to pick up groceries, but she also knows that she has to fulfill her familial role of picking up her kid at the same time. And so at this point, the roles conflict with each other, and she has to make a good decision. And usually, in this case, she will make the decision to pick up her kid. And finally, uh, social roles overlap. So imagine if you're the daughter and you're actually going to study for a test with some friends. At that same time, you are being in the friend role, the social role, but you're also the student role. And so you're holding two roles at once. So now, an important part of social roles is your citizenship role. And as I said, being a citizen and being part of a citizenship role is basically, you can do whatever level of participation you want to do, as long as you don't ignore it completely. So some people just say, we're gonna vote, be informed, but not participate at all. Some people say, we want to participate as much as humanly possible. We want to, control what the dance looks like at school, or we want to control what freedoms the administration gives us. And so they run for, student president, student vice president, student treasurer. And you'll see that a lot even in high school. And these people sometimes even go and say, we want to hold elective office because we want to run for, we want to be able to control what the government does. And so you can take a low role in life and just sort of say, I want to be informed and vote and maybe contribute, but not do too much. Or you can actually choose to be one of the leaders in society. But finally, even if you do nothing related to the government, you can have a social role that's still aimed at dealing with the common good and contributing to your society in a positive way. As this picture shows, a picture of a soup kitchen for homeless people and poor people and that type of thing. You can volunteer at your local soup or consumer kitchen. And by doing that, you are helping the common good. You are helping a need in your society. And you're not necessarily even, helping the government at all necessarily, but you are making your society a better place. And any of you guys can do that. You guys could do that now even. It's something that you can directly affect and create an impact in society today. So, these are SOL, things you have to remember, but there are several ways that you can actually work for this common good. Participate in community service is what it's called. For example, on the bottom there, you can help to make the community a good place to work and live. The soup kitchen would be a service organization, but you can also tutor your friends. You can tutor your neighbor down the street that can't get math in fourth grade. You can also volunteer in nursing homes. The people who are elderly in those homes really love the attention that you might give them. You can also express concern about the welfare of the community as a whole. Remember, I said that the elected representatives, your governor, the president, the senator, or Virginia, anybody who you or your parents may have voted for, are directly responsible to you. The governor is responsible to you. Your education leaders in who are elected in the Prince William Education Office are responsible to you. So if you have a concern, you are more than welcome to write them, and I encourage you to write them and ask for help in how to write them from your teachers and parents, etc. Notice those areas around you in life that could be a lot better and that are struggling really to, succeed. Bring them to notice to your elected representatives. Write your elected representatives about that. Go talk to them. If you have a solution, offer it up. They love to hear that kind of thing. Finally, you can volunteer for democratic institutions. So this is more your supporting the ideals of democracy by, giving unbiased information to voters or encouraging uh, voters who don't normally go to the polls because they feel like nobody listens to them to go to the polls, or making sure that certain causes are met by elected leaders. That's what some of these democratic institutions do. So now as we come to this last slide, I want you to just think about and answer this question on your piece of paper. So think about the needs of your community and or school that you wrote down from the past movie. And if you didn't write these down, that's fine. Just write them down now. Talk to your parents, elders about, what does the community need? What does the school need? What's lacking? Write them down. Write these ideas down. Now, write down what roles you want to take to solve these problems. For example, do you want to only take a little role? A big role? What do you want to do? How much work do you want to do in this case? And then finally, write down all the roles that you currently fill in your life. For example, friendship roles. And this question is designed just to try to get you guys to think about, we talked about the duties and rights and responsibilities of being a citizen, and we talked about, how to be a citizen. So now, where do you fit in this picture? Do you want to really work hard for the common good, to really sort of take an active role in citizenship? Because, believe it or not, what the government does affect you, either directly or indirectly. So, do you want to take an active role in citizenship? Or do you want to just, go home every day and play your Xbox? I mean, both are fine. So, this question is just designed to get you to think, where do you fit in this larger picture?